Alright, and welcome to finding the area of regular hexagons. Okay, so take the area of this, it says regular polygon below, but we know it has 6 sides, so we know for a fact this is a hexagon. And what we want to do is draw the right triangle that is contained in this that we learned how to do in our previous video, UG Drawing Right Triangles Practice. Okay, so what were the things that we did? Well, we started by putting a center in the middle of this hexagon, and then drawing each one of the radii to connect that center. Now notice all 6 of our central angles, when formed together, form a circle, which means that implicitly there's 360 degrees in the middle. We divide it by the number of central angles, which is 6, which gives us 60 degrees. Each central angle is, in fact, 60 degrees. Now from here, we draw our apothem. Notice our apothem goes from the center to the midpoint and forms a perpendicular bisector. And so from there, we just take this right triangle that was formed and we draw it separately. Now also notice that our apothem cuts everything in half. So if the full central angle was 60, then 60 divided by 2 will give me 30 degrees. And remember that a full one of these triangles is an equilateral triangle with sides of 30 and then each one of the angles being 60. And of course we had that right triangle where our apothem was. Okay, now once again as a refresher, this gives us a 30, 60, 90 triangle, meaning that not only did the apothem cut the 60 degrees in half, it also cut the 8 in half, giving us a base of 4. And if you remember from our previous video, the angles of a 30, 60, 90 triangle mean that if the short side is 4, in this case 4 inches, then to go to the third side, we multiply by the square root of 3. Meaning that we have 4 times the square root of 3, which is simply 4 square root of 3, which is, in fact, my apothem. Okay, so now in order to find the area of the regular hexagon, we actually need the formula for the area of a regular polygon. So here I just like to call this the area of a regular polygon, which is going to be this: 1/2 times the apothem times the perimeter. Or in this case, we have 1/2 times my apothem, 4 square roots of 3, times my perimeter. Well, we know that each side is 8 times, and we know that the number of sides, well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides for a hexagon. And from here, we can do all of our math. So I know that 1/2 times 4 is 2, so I can write 2 square roots of 3. I know that 8 times 6 is 48. And now, in order to finish this, I just have to do 2 times 48, and so I can write my final area as 96 square roots of 3 inches squared. Now notice, if you want your answer choice in decimals, you can just do 96 times the square root of 3 in your calculator, but this is the most perfect way to write this answer. Alright, let's move on to example 2 and move a little bit faster this time. Okay, here we are in example 2, and let's just run through our process. We know we draw the center, and then we divide this hexagon up into 6 equilateral triangles. Remember, they're only equilateral triangles for a hexagon. And we do, of course, 360 divided by 6, which gives me 60. All of my central angles are 60 degrees. But when I draw my apothem, it cuts everything in half and forms a right angle. So half of 60 is, of course, 30, and half of 20 is 10. Now this allows me to draw my right triangle off to the side. Once again, the apothem forms a right angle. It cuts the 20 in half for a base of 10. It cuts the 60 in half for a top angle of 30. And we have, of course, this angle of 60 right here. And to go from the short side, or the base of my 30, 60, 90 triangle, to the third side, I simply multiply by the square root of 3. Remember, this is only a rule for a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And here we have our apothem. Once again, I write the formula for the area of a regular polygon, which does include hexagons: 1/2 times the apothem times the perimeter. Now I have 1/2 times my apothem of 10 square roots of 3 times my perimeter. I have sides of 20 times the number of sides. Well, a hexagon is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I can do all of this math from here. Okay, so 1/2 times 10 is, of course, 5 square roots of 3, times 20 times 6. I hope you can do that in your head. If not, use a calculator. 120. And 120 times 5 could be a little bit trickier. 5 times 100 is 500. 5 times 20 is 100. And so what we'll have is 600 square roots of 3. Oh, and I do apologize. Since our units are inches, we would write inches squared. All right, I hope that this made finding the area of a regular hexagon easy when you don't know the apothem. Now, as a side note, you can only use this trick for a hexagon. Anything else, you have to use trigonometry, which we will find out later on in the year. Y'all have a great night.